Hi guys, and welcome to another one of your replays, and today we are featuring the Hetzer with Wilco 4135. Now, usually I put two replays in one of these videos, one high tier, one low tier, and I did pick out another replay, a Jagdpanzer E100 replay, so I was going to feature a tier 10 game, I was going to feature a tier 4 game in the Hetzer, and then I started thinking about the video before I started recording, and it suddenly occurred to me that I haven't really spoken about the Hetzer. In fact, I don't even know if I've featured the Hetzer on the channel before, but if I have, I didn't talk about its history, because I don't ever remember talking about the Hetzer's history, and the Hetzer has to be one of the most interesting vehicles built during World War II. Very, very interesting vehicle, and there's a lot to talk about. So I decided that I was going to spend some time talking about the Hetzer because I know a lot of you guys like that, talking about the history. And then it also occurred to me that there were a lot of videos where I announced there were going to be Steam key winners and I hadn't actually picked out winners. So earlier today I sat down, I went through 6 different videos. I think there were 12 winners, 12 different Steam keys I'm going to give away. All those keys have been sent out, so those winners have been notified. Congratulations, guys. They're all pretty good games. They are all pretty good games that I've sent out, but I'm going to announce those winners at the end of the video. So I decided, yes, I'm going to be talking about the Hetzer. I'm going to be talking about Wilco's game in the Hetzer. I'm going to be announcing competition winners, and there's just not going to be room for a tier 10 replay or a second replay in the Jagdpanzer E100. So what I might do is I might just record that anyway after I'm done with this video and put it out as a bonus video either today or tomorrow. But yeah, let's get back to this, because the Hetzer, yeah, this is almost like the teddy bear of German tank destroyers. It is a very, very cute, very, very good looking tank destroyer. I know some people might disagree, but look at that sloping, look at that angling. It's almost like a sports car. And the first thing you need to know about the Hetzer is it's a tier 4 German tank destroyer, and you might be under the assumption that it was a pre-war design, or maybe it was an early World War II design, but nope, the Hetzer wasn't designed until 1944. It was put into production in April 1944. It was in production right up till 1945 regarding World War II, but they also remained in production for a short time after World War II. So it came to the war very, very late. And the reason it came to the war very, very late is because Germany were in desperate need of armor. In April 1944, when this tank first went into development, Germany were being pushed on both sides. The Russians were advancing in the east, the Allies were advancing in the west. German factories had been bombed into oblivion. Raw materials were hard to get. Manufacturing facilities had been destroyed. And Germany had focused on big, expensive, technical, complicated tank destroyers. When the Hetzer was designed, Germany were trying to produce the Jagdtiger. They were trying to produce the Ferdinand, although the Ferdinand came a lot earlier than that, but it was complicated, it was technical. They were developing the Jagdpanthers. So German tank or tank destroyer development was quite complicated. It was costly and it was lengthy. It wasn't very, very cost effective, and they couldn't mass produce tank destroyers in any great number. So as a way of resolving this, Skoda designed the Hetzer, the Jagdpanzer 38T, as the correct name for this tank is, and they built it, as you can guess, from the Panzer 38T or the LTVZ 38T, the pre-war Czechoslovakian light tank. So it was a very, very reliable chassis or hull, and it was a very, very reliable engine. And on top of that, there were plenty of parts lying around, so it could be mass-produced quickly, cheaply, and easily. So the tank, the Hetzer, was actually based on a Romanian tank destroyer, of which the name of which I can't remember. But the design of this tank was based on a Romanian tank destroyer, and it was based on the chassis of a Panzer 38T or LTVZ 38T, whatever you want to say. So they could be produced in large numbers very, very quickly. And they were produced from April 1944 to the end of 1945. Over 2,600 Hetzers were built, and they didn't stop building them at the end of World War II. Skoda kept building Hetzers for export. In fact, after World War II in 1946, Switzerland bought 180 Hetzers from Skoda. However, it should be noted that of the 180 Hetzers that were purchased by Switzerland after World War II, those are the Hetzers you see in museums and in collections. Very few Hetzers actually survived the war, so most of the Hetzers that are in war museums these days are actually tanks that were repurchased from the Swiss after World War II. So they were surplus tanks from Switzerland that Skoda had provided them. But the Hetzer, very, very successful mass-produced tank, which isn't even officially the Hetzer. The Hetzer is the incorrect name for this tank. As I say, this tank was known as the Jagdpanzer 38T. That is the correct name. That is the name on all the designs and all the plans. This tank was never ever connected with the name Hetzer, apart from one small mistake, which was that at the time the Hetzer was being designed, Skoda were also working on a prototype tank destroyer called the E10. The E10 was called the Hetzer. This was called the Jagdpanzer 38T. However, a mix-up in the designs meant that some of the designs for this tank were mislabeled Hetzer by accident when it wasn't referring to the same tank. As a result, when the Hetzer first rolled out, or when the Jagdpanzer 38T first rolled out to its infantry units, it was used for infantry support, anti-tank warfare with infantry units. Basically, because the plans were marked wrong, the instructions were marked wrong, the troops called it the Hetzer, which is German for Baiter, B-A-I-T-O-R, before any of you get dirty thoughts in your head. But yeah, even the name was wrong. It was mislabeled. The prototype was supposed to be called Hetzer, or a different prototype, a completely different tank destroyer. This was the Jagdpanzer 38T. Now, the mistake over the name was corrected very, very quickly. However, the damage was done because the first troops who received this tank started calling it the Hetzer because that's what it was called on the instruction manuals. When the German commander Heinz Guderian reported on this tank's development to Hitler, he reported from an incorrect source that the troops had started calling this tank the Hetzer, and it was the troops that actually gave this tank its nickname. However, that wasn't true. It was simply a mix-up in the title on the instructions. So a lot of people mistakenly, even now, more recently, lots of historians say that this tank was named by the troops. However, it wasn't. Baiter or Hetzer was the name given to a prototype. But anyway, yeah, so even the name is incorrect. This is the Jagdpanzer 38T, and as I say, it was one of the most mass-produced tanks of World War II, or late World War II, 2,600 of them being built, or thereabouts, and it was simply built because it was cost-effective and efficient compared to what Germany was building at the time, which was Jagdtigers, Jagdpanzers, and, I think the Ferdinand had been scrapped by that stage, but it turned out to be a very, very successful model, very, very reliant, the engine didn't break down very much, it was very, very, the troops trusted it, it was very, very fast, very, very mobile, and it came with a selection of guns. Now, this gun, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but this is a gun you don't see a lot of players using on the tank. This is the 39, this is the L48, the Pack 39 L48. This is the gun that Wilco is using in this particular replay. Now, this is a gun that did come on the tank. It's the standard German gun you see on a lot of tanks of the same tier and a tier 5. 110 penetration, 110 damage. It's quite a good gun, and when you consider that this is a gun that's found on a lot of tier 5s and you find it on the Hetzer at tier 4, it means the gun is pretty good. However, the stock gun that the tank comes with is also a 75mm, and in fact it has the same alpha damage of 110, only the penetration is slightly more lacking. The stock gun on the Hetzer is the it's the Stuk STUK-L43. Now, the stock gun on the Hetzer in World of Tanks actually didn't come on the tank. That was the gun that was mounted on the 180 tanks that Switzerland bought from Skoda at the end of World War II. So the stock gun never actually existed or wasn't used during World War II. However, the stock gun does make the Hetzer a very, very good tank to play from stock, because, as I say, the only difference between the stock 75mm and this 75mm, that's the second gun, is 7mm of penetration. That's it. So the stock gun comes with 103 millimeters of penetration, 110 damage, whereas this gun comes with 110 millimeters of penetration, 110 damage. So this is actually quite a pleasant stock tank to play. The stock gun is actually very, very good. It also comes with the derp gun, a 105 millimeter or 10.5 centimeter, which is the gun I used when I originally played the Hetzer. I ground through the Hetzer using the derp gun. That's where my love of derp began, but I was a new player back then. Haven't played the Hetzer since, but my love of derp began with the Hetzer, and back then I didn't know what I was doing, and even though I love the tank, I sold it and still haven't rebought it. But so you've basically got three very, very good guns available for the Stug. Even the stock gun is pretty good. The 75 millimeter Pack 39, this gun here is a very, very good gun, especially for its tier. And the howitzer, the 105 millimeter howitzer, is also a very, very, very good gun. It's a very, very good derp gun. Maybe I'll have a look through my replay folder and see if I can find any derp action on this tank. But anyway, yeah, Hetzer never actually was known as the Hetzer. That's just a misprint in its instructions. This is the Jagdpanzer 38T, and we are going to go with Wilco 4145 or 35, but I am just going to be calling him Wilco during this replay. Now the Hetzer, while it is stock and has a very good gun and is playable stock, you'll find that the traverse speed is quite poor, the acceleration is quite poor, but when you actually get the tank fully upgraded, it can be just an absolute monster. And Wilco's going to be playing this game in a tier 5 game, so he's not top tier, he's mid tier. 5 tier 5s on the enemy team, a huge number of tier 4s, and some unlucky tier 3s. You can see that Wilco is doing 25 kilometers uphill on unfavorable ground. He's going to speed up as soon as he gets over this rise. Now, this is, unfortunately, Wilco sent me this replay. This is actually a replay that was sent in quite recently, but it's a 9.9 replay. So, yeah, I had to install my extra hard drive and start looking for the old 9.3 installation of World of Tanks in order to play this replay. But if any of you guys remember what 9.9 was for replays, at least if you've been watching that long, 9.9 replays were very, very bugged. 9.9, patch 9.9 broke the replay system quite heavily, and you're going to see some problems here with the replay as a result, because it is a 9.9 replay. But you can see his team are being very aggressive across the bridge. Very surprising to see 4 tanks moving across the bridge here on, what's the name? Never remember this map. Mountain Pass. So lots of tanks have pushed down to the corner at D8. Lots of tanks pushing across the bridge in the middle of the map. Not very many tanks have gone south down to the corner at J3, but Wilco is advancing. There are 3 tanks down here, including a top tier heavy KV-1, but they're playing very, very, very passively, let's just say, passively. And after watching this replay, I was kind of wondering what this game would have been like had Wilco been using the derp gun, because, as I say, I think the Hetzer is most dangerous with a derp gun. It's got a nice rate of fire, it's got nice penetration with the 75mm, but the derp gun means you can one-hit kill tier 4 tanks, you can one-hit kill tier 5 tanks, well, low tier, or low hit point tier 5s, and you could definitely one-hit kill tier 3s, and the occasional tier 2s that you run into. But what you can see is Wilco is actually a very experienced Stug driver, or not a Stug, Hetzer driver here. He's gone hull down. Now, the Hetzer has incredibly good sloped armor, and that means when you go hull down, you hide its lower glacis, you only give them the front of your tank to shoot at, then the armor can be very, very good. Problem with the Hetzer is the side and rear armor, even though it's sloped, is very, very poor. So you do not want tanks getting to your side and rear, but thankfully this is a choke point map. Wilco only has to worry about pointing his tank directly forward. He takes on an enemy Hetzer who seems to be firing HE, only takes 24 damage, sets the enemy Hetzer on fire, and there's kill number 1. So there's still a T-25, and there's still a Stug 3G around this corner. As I say, the Hetzer was developed quite late during World War II, so even though the Stug 3G is a tier 5, a tier higher, it was actually developed a lot sooner than the Hetzer was. But yet the Hetzer is a tier lower. But Wilco has run out of a lot of support. As I said, there's a friendly Stug 3G with him. There's an M7 that's moved up and is taking fire. And Wilco is using this wreck of a tank in front of him incredibly well. You can see he's looking for shots. Nice high roll, 110 alpha damage, gets 110 or 125 on that roll. He's just focusing down these tanks. They're not rushing him. They're letting him play the Hetzer to his strengths. He's keeping his sloped frontal armor, the best armor on his tank, directly forward. He's just putting his 75mm to use. The aim time on the 75mm is exactly the same as the stock gun. The accuracy is also slightly worse on the stock gun, but, you know, almost unnoticeable. So, as I say, the major difference between the gun Wilco is using here and the stock gun is it's 7mm of extra penetration and slightly better accuracy, but you can see the rate of fire here. Wilco putting 3 shots in quick succession and picking up 2 kills, but he's not blind. If you could see what's happening on the rest of the map, all the tanks that advanced across the bridge are dead. There's only an M7, he's under pressure from this Panzer IV-D. Wilco is aiming quite quickly. That would look like quite a long aim time, but on paper this tank has 1.7 seconds aim time, which is actually very, very good. The cap counter's just gone off. Wilco saved the M7, but they're losing 11-12. It's 3 versus 4 right now. Wilco is on 4 kills. They've just taken out the Cruiser 4 that was defending Cap. The M7 is moving up to take on a Lux, but he's been flanked by a Chiha. So now Wilco is standing alone against 4 enemy tanks in his Hetzer. And I say it's lovely. It is lovely to see someone using the 75mm on the Hetzer because it's just a good gun. I think even myself get a little bit fixated on people using the 105mm, the Derp gun howitzer, just because it's a lot of fun on the Hetzer. But yeah, you can't take away, the 75mm is still a very, very good gun, especially when you consider this is a gun you find on a lot of German tier 5s, and the Hetzer gets it here at tier 4. So when it's not top tier, I think the Hetzer can still do a job. It's quite a versatile tank destroyer. It's got great camo rating. It's a lot smaller than it would suggest. Remember, this is built on a 38T, which is quite a small tank, so the Hetzer is actually a lot smaller than a lot of people give it credit for. But he resets the cap. Very good reset on 100%. I believe the cap was at 100% there. I was talking and I missed the cap, but I do remember from the first time I watched this replay, the cap was almost done and Wilco was able to reset the cap from 100%. But enemy tanks, see, this is a classic mistake. Enemy tanks are just poking out, they're taking shots, they see the Hetzer, they don't realize the rate of fire he has. They've allowed each other to move out into the open, they've allowed each other to be reset, and Wilco is just having a party here. He's bouncing shot after shot. He takes out the Panzer IV-H, takes out the Chiha. Now there's a DW2 who's making a run for it, and that takes Wilco up to 6 kills. As you can see, against its own tier and lower tier tanks, the frontal armor on the Hetzer is just surprisingly good. Yeah, and the DW2 is not stupid. He has actually run for it. He's left the cap circle, he's running for it. And now Wilco has a decision to make. He doesn't know where that Lux is. The Lux could be trying to flank him. The Lux could be waiting outside the cap area. Maybe they're trying to ambush him, so he had a choice. He could either chase down the DW2, which is not the quickest tank, or he can wait for the 2 tanks to gang up and try and come at him one by one. He's using the wreck. What I love here is he's using the wreck of this tank. He was only exposing the gun on the tank, which is on the right-hand side, so he was hiding the entire center and left of his tank using a wreck, exposing only the gun and the gun mantlet, and that pretty much tells me that he's an experienced Hetzer player. So once again, this is a tank that is far more comfortable going around right-hand corners because it only exposes a small area of the tank and its gun mantlet. It's far more comfortable going around right-hand corners than left-hand corners because the left-hand corner means you need to expose most of your tank before you get around the corner and get your gun on target. But Wilco is, I would say, he's either very, very clever or maybe a little bit indecisive here. He's very clever in the fact that he is not going to chase down tanks that are faster. He's aware that the enemy Lux is on 3 kills. The enemy Lux is a very fast mobile tank, and if the Lux decides flank him or get to his side and rear, it could be a very, very quick end to this game. He's on 98 hit points. He can't afford to take very many hits. He has been bouncing shots, but unfortunately, the Hetzer doesn't get a lot of hit points to begin with. It's a TD, so it only gets 270 hit points. He's only got 98 of those left, and the looks could easily take those away in just a couple of seconds. So he has set up an ambush. He's not chasing down the DW2, which, to be honest, I probably would have done, but as I say, Wilco is playing probably to the tank's strengths here. He doesn't want to get ambushed by the looks. He's going to sit here. He's going to wait for something to happen. I'm going to speed it up till something happens, because if I remember correctly, he sits here for almost a minute. Now, he did re-switch ammunition. I don't know why, I can't remember. But yep, he's been sitting here for a minute. Incredible patience. Oh, and here we go. So a DW2 decides to flank, comes down Ice Road, and the Lux is with him. That shows the camo rating on the Lux, that the Lux was actually in front of the DW2. Wilco spotted the DW2 first, takes out the Lux. That's kill number 7, just the DW2 left. Again, he has bounced the DW2 and the Lux. He bounced 3 shots in that short exchange. Gets a beautiful shot into the turret on the DW2. I am at the correct speed, yes I am. Little unfortunate, DW2's not giving him much to shoot at, but he's only giving his turret and gun mantlet, and I think Wilco wants to secure this game because he switched to premium ammo. He definitely wants to secure this game. He's still on 98 health. The DW2 is on very, very low health, and he's blind firing. I think maybe Wilco would have been better off switching to HE as opposed to premium, because the DW2 is only on 2 hit points, but it doesn't matter. Wilco takes him out for kill number 8. So what a result by Wilco 4135 and the Jagdpanzer 38T. Not the Hetzer. I'm going to have to maybe do some research. I want to find out more about this E10 that was actually called the Hetzer, not this tank. But as I say, just due to a mistake in documentation, the instructions for the Hetzer having the wrong name on top, the Panzer 38T, or the Jagdpanzer 38T, became known as the Hetzer, and it's been known like that ever since. But as I say, technically it's not. Hetzer refers to a prototype, but ace tanker for Wilco, very, very good. Defender, high caliber, top gun, what a result. He was not top tier, he was a tier 4 and a tier 5 game. He finished up with 1524 XP and over 2,184 damage, or well, exactly 2,184 damage with 8 kills. Very, very good result, showing that you don't have to use the derp gun. You don't have to use the derp gun on the Hetzer, but personally I just find the derp gun a lot more fun. 32 shots fired, hit 27, pen 23, so yeah, the penetration very, very good on the tank. A little bit unfortunate with a couple of his bounces on angled tanks, but very, very good performance. And as I say, 75mm, perfect alternative if you don't like derp guns. He damaged 9, destroyed 8, did 152 assistance damage, got exactly 100 base defense points. As I say, the cap got up to 100 at one stage, and Wilco was able to reset it almost milliseconds before the game was over. 36.6k credits made with a premium account. It was the first game of the day. It was ×2, so very, very good result. Hetzer, yeah, I'm surprised. I really am surprised. I haven't really featured the tank on the channel or talked about its history before. Incredibly interesting tank. And as I say, most of the Hetzers that are still in existence today were actually surplus tanks bought by Switzerland from Skoda at the end of World War II. And the stock gun on the Hetzer in-game is actually the gun that was mounted on those Swiss tanks. But yeah, incredibly interesting history from a tank that was developed very, very late in World War II. It was very, very successful. It was used to great effect, but unfortunately, yeah, just probably down to the gun selection, it is quite far down the tech tree and gives people the false impression that it was actually quite an early tank during World War II, or even a pre-World War II tank. But Anyway, Hetzer, there we go. We are done. Now, I'm going to be giving out a couple of Steam keys on this particular video as per usual because I'm still celebrating 4K subscribers, although I've just been so busy in real life recently. It's been very, very hard to sit down in front of the computer and make videos. But I'm going to be giving out a couple of Steam keys on this particular video. Just leave a comment if you want to be included. And I've got a bunch, an absolutely huge amount of Steam keys to give away on this particular video as well. So I'm going to say, let's see now who was first up. I'm going to say congratulations to Bart Van Dam and to Jeff Ludic, who won copies of Realms of Arcania, Blade of Destiny. This is a game that is actually very, very good, even though you would not think it. I'm going to be giving you those games plus all their DLC. Basically, Realms of Arcania is a RPG, but it's a very difficult RPG. It's a game I've been meaning to play for a long, long time. For example, if you're wearing plate armor, you go out in the snow, well, yeah, plate armor is not the best to wear in the snow, so you're going to get cold, you're going to get wet, and your characters are going to get sick, so you've got to bear that in mind. Even the weather has an effect on your characters in the game. It is a very, very complicated but also a very, very rewarding RPG, but when it was first released it was very, very buggy and it got a lot of negative reviews, and as a result I think Steam still says it has mixed results, but it received a bunch of patches, it received a bunch of free DLC, and all of those things fixed most of the problems in the game. So it's actually a very, very good game. I've been meaning to try and play now that it's been fixed. But as I say, Bart Van Dam, Jeff Ludic, you guys have won copies of Realms of Arcania, Blade of Destiny, and all their DLCs. So congratulations. Next video I wanted to cover was the T18 HMC Ace Tanker. I'm going to give away 2 copies of Rune Classic, another very, very good RPG. It's a little bit, graphics are a little bit dated, but it's still reckoned to be one of the best RPGs made in recent years. 2 winners to that, so congratulations Rubara and congratulations Cruel Dark Knight 123. You guys won that copy of Rune Classic, another game I own and have to get around to playing someday. Moving on, next thing we've got is your replays. What was that? Oh, that was the T71 and the Type 64, your replays. Yeah, 2 more winners from that particular video. I'm going to send you guys another very, very positive RPG. Got a heck of a lot of positive comments, a lot of positive reviews. It's a game called Wizardry 8. Got 2 copies of that to give away, and the 2 winners are Rui Ferreira and Spinning Heel 42. So congratulations to you guys. You guys have won yourselves a copy of Wizardry 8. Next was the T34-3 Ace Tanker. 2 more winners for that. Wow, I'm running out of steam here, running out of breath. Avignon. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Avignon Gates of Night. That's going to go to Cool Car. Congratulations, Cool Car. You won that Steam key from commenting on that video. And the next one up is the Horde Complete Pack. Horde Complete Pack. It's a game I'm dying to play. I just never seem to have the time. So that is Horde. It's basically you play a dragon. You're a dragon. And it's got all its DLC. So you've won the Horde Complete Pack. Dizzer, you've won that particular one for yourself, so congratulations. And the last one up I need to catch up on is the T54, or the Skoda T24 Ace Tanker. Sorry, I'm doing this off the top of my head. Skoda T24 Ace Tanker. 2 winners from that particular video as well. So Heroes of Annihilated Empires. Again, another game that's gotten incredibly good reviews. I just haven't got around to playing it. But Fodder 49, you have won that game for yourself. Well done. And the final giveaway on this particular video is Rune Spell Overture, which is a kind of a fantasy card game that has got some of the highest ratings or the highest reviews I have seen for a card game on Steam. So supposed to be very, very good, and yet again I own it. I love Hearthstone, I love fantasy, and I just haven't got around to playing it. But Rune Spell Overture has gone to Andre Bichis, or I have no idea how to pronounce your second name. It's going to be up on screen, but I want to congratulate you. So let's see now. We have Rubara, Cruel Dark Knight 123, Rui Ferreira, Spinning Heel 42, Bart Van Dam, Jeff Ludic. I don't know how to pronounce your name correctly, but I apologize. Cool Car, Dizzer, Fodder 49, and Andre Bish. I have no idea. I'm giving up on your name, Andre, but congratulations, you guys have all won Steam keys. I'm going to give away another couple of Steam keys on this particular video. Sorry I haven't been around. I really don't want to explain why. It's a personal matter, but I'm hopefully going to try and get some more videos out. So Hetzer replay from Wilco4135, thank you for sending that in. Very, very nice to see the tank in action and to be able to talk about it for the first time on the channel. And I'm going to see if, well, actually I do have time. I'm going to make a Jagdpanzer E100 video now, which was originally supposed to be part of this video, but it was just getting too long. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. If you want to win a Steam key, leave a comment. I'll see you next time.